Hello everybody. Welcome to something a little bit different today. This obviously is not a review, but sometimes it's hard for me, even if I like a film, to exactly figure out all my thoughts and get them all sorted in order to put out a review. So I thought I'd do something a little bit different. This is something that I kind of personally enjoy watching from time to time, which is seeing other people's physical media collections. I'm a big physical media collector, whether that be movies or video games or music. But movies and film, as I've gotten more into that in the last couple of years, is the one that's really kind of taking the most of it. So I'll do my best to just go through all of them. This is gonna be, I don't know how long the video is gonna be. I'm gonna be speaking candidly, so it's just, hopefully you all stick around. Probably my biggest labels are gonna be Criterion, that makes up the bulk of it, and then like Arrow Video and Radiance. My philosophy when it comes to buying movies, I don't just buy everything that comes out on the market. I want to know that A, I either like it, or B, that I think it has some kind of artistic significance. Obviously there are exceptions to just about every rule that I have. I do have a lot of blind buys, but I try to make those as informed as possible, whether I would like it to something or if there are comparisons to other filmmakers and movies that I enjoy. Because some of the movies I can't watch beforehand. But if I did pick up a movie and I didn't like it, I would go ahead and just put it up on eBay or something. I wouldn't want to have a need for it to take up space on my shelf. And I'll start with the label that makes up the bulk of my collection. That would be the Criterion Collection. This is spine number 2 is Seven Samurai, Akira Kurosawa's most highly regarded masterpiece. This is the 4K edition from Criterion. I did end up going up with the BFI's edition. I'm not some Criterion loyalist. If there's a better edition that puts out there, I know some people have problems about how Criterion masters their discs. So if there's a label that either puts out a 4K of something that Criterion hasn't, or they have their own version, I'd have no problem going ahead and picking up that version. But I ended up going with this one. There were some special features that I was more inclined to that were on this that weren't on the BFI. I think the most biggest one was the Toshiro Mifune interview that's in the booklet. That just sounded really interesting to me. I order all the labels that put spine numbers on their films by the spine number. I've been doing that since the start, so it's not very complicated for me to just find it on the shelf. Next, I have spine number 12. This is Spinal Tap from Rob Reiner. I picked this up at the most recent Barnes & Noble sale, obviously, the 4K edition. I have not opened it yet, and I have not seen it, but I picked it up because it just seems hilarious. Next, I have spine number 13, the Blu-ray of The Silence of the Lambs. This was actually the first Criterion that I picked up. I did pay full price for it, and it is a wonderful edition. When this was out, the Kino Lorber 4K was out, but I ended up just going with this one because I heard some mixed reception on that master, and also due to the audio commentary that is on this, featuring Jodie Foster, Anthony Hopkins, Jonathan Demme, the screenwriter. Basically, everybody you could want in the audio commentary was on it. I have since picked up the Arrow Videos 4K release of The Silence of the Lambs. I did not pick up the limited edition because I learned about it too late, but I'm keeping this around pretty much solely for that audio commentary. Next, I have the 4K release of Brazil. I also picked this up at a Barnes & Noble sale. It was a blind buy. I think just got very intrigued of it based on the cover. I think the artwork looks amazing. Hearing Robert De Niro was in it, and that's just a sci-fi dystopian in it. Even Criterion draws parallels to other great dystopian works, such as Brave New World, which still deserves its own really well done film adaptation. Next, I have Spine 70. This is Marty Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ. This film just has a very interesting premise, something that I personally would be interested in, and it seems to be, obviously you have the kind of the pantheon of Scorsese films, but this is kind of just under, and just also masterpieces, but less talked about than, the big three. And I think to continue the conversation of films that are considered some of the director's best but are outside of that core group would be Floating Weeds by Yasujiro Ozu. This is spine number 232. This also comes with the silent film that he would eventually remake, A Story of Floating Weeds. This is the Blu-ray. I picked this up. This is a blind buy. I've seen a couple films from Ozu, and they're absolutely amazing, and I've heard basically nothing but good things about Floating Weeds. Again, it seems to be regarded as one of his greatest works. Next up, I have David Cronenberg's Videodrome. This is spine number 248. This is the 4K edition from Criterion. Next, I have Shortcuts. This is spine number 265. This is the Robert Altman film. I had seen Nashville. I had really enjoyed Nashville, and I hope that comes back into the collection. I went with picking up this because this is about as Nashville as you can get without it being Nashville in terms of just big movie, a lot of people. Next, I have Akira Kurosawa's Kagemusha. This is the Blu-ray. I got this as a Christmas gift. I have not seen it. Next, I also have Kihachi Okamoto's The Sword of Doom. This was also a blind buy. The cover looks very intriguing. It sounds great, and it stars some of the, the biggest Japanese stars that you can get. Next up, I have Le Samurai. This is the 4K release from Criterion, spine number 306. Even though I have not opened this, I have seen it. I just haven't gotten around to it. And this is a wonderful film from Jean-Pierre Melville. It's the only film that I've seen by him, but it has just a great atmosphere. I love the combination of crime, thriller, kind of detective, maybe cat and mouse game with a lot of that jazz scene. Those jazz ladies are obviously wonderful, and just those samurai films, kind of lone samurai wanderer, maybe a little bit of that desperado that's also wedged inside of this. Next up here, I have Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused. Follows a day in the lives of these teenagers as they get out of school and move on towards summer break before their senior year. This is just a good time. It's a lot of fun. It makes me feel nostalgic for a time that I definitely was not alive for, with the music and the cars and just how everybody's acting. Is just, yeah, you can't really have, if you show this to someone and they have a bad time, you should probably stop seeing that person. Next up, I have The Double Life of Veronique from Polish director Krzysztof Kieślowski. Kieślowski is a very important director to me. He was kind of the director that really started getting the ball rolling for me onto kind of art film, more serious films that I connect with a little bit better. Arain Jacob is absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of heartbreak in it. Very moving. Maybe you've only seen the Three Colors trilogy and you want to get more. This is a great place to go. I need to see more Kieślowski than I have. It's unfortunate, but this is essential. Next up, I have Breathless, the Jean-Luc Godard French New Wave film. This is obviously one of the most famous, most influential movies ever made. This is the 4K edition, and it looks great. There's a lot of style in this movie. There's a lot of attitude, but there's also those moments where they kind of just sit back and they're just talking, and I find it to be a very enjoyable film. Next up is spine number 409. That is Days of Heaven. This is the 4K edition. One of my favorite movies, probably my favorite Terrence Malick movie. I don't really have much to say about it. You can watch my review. Next, I have Jean-Luc Godard's Pierre Le Fou. This I got as a blind buy on one of the flash sales on the Criterion website. I just want to get more into Jean-Luc Godard, and this is one that seemed the most interesting. I have lots of gaps in my cinema that I'm trying to fill up, and hopefully this gets me a little bit closer. Here I have Yasujiro Ozu's An Autumn Afternoon. This is his final film. This was also my first Ozu film. I got this as a birthday gift. I had not seen it, and then I watched it, and I thought it was wonderful, though I do want to see it again, because even though I did enjoy it and enjoyed many sequences, probably my favorite one was the whole golf club debacle. I had watched Tokyo Story after this, and then I had watched it again recently during a movie night that I do with some of my friends, and I really enjoy it. I mean, it truly is one of the great masterpieces of cinema, so I want to check this out again just to get probably a fresher perspective of it. Next, I have spine number 452, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, directed by Martin Ritz. This was a blind buy that I got after watching John Lithgow, I believe, yes, his Criterion Closet. Just the way he spoke about this movie, just, I don't know, just how he phrased it, just seemed like something I was really interested in, so I picked this up at a flash sale. I have yet to see it. Next I have here is Spine number 490. This is Wings of Desire by Wim Wenders. This is probably my favorite Wim Wenders film. I'm just a big fan. I like the... This just seems like a celebration of the human experience, and seeing how these angels envy that and want to become a part of it is just very moving. Following up that Wim Wenders film is another Wim Wenders film. Spine number 501, Paris, Texas. This is the 4K edition. I think it looks really good. I think I've read some controversies that people had, maybe with like the color grading or whatever, but I think it looks good for what it's worth. I also love the cover. This is like one of my favorite covers. I know people have kind of gripe about Criterion not always upgrading their covers along when they upgrade their films, but if they had changed this cover, I would have been very upset. Next up, I have Terrence Malick's The Thin Red Line. This is after his 20-year absence, comes back and makes a war movie. Who would have thought? This is not your average war movie. It's if, Terrence Malick had made a war movie. There's a lot going on. It's a big tapestry. You hear, their thoughts, you see what they go through, you follow from character to character. Sometimes they'll come in and be key for like 20 minutes and then go away. But it's very powerful. There's some very moving moments that just kind of...
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Next up, I have the 4K set of the Three Colors trilogy by Krzysztof Kieslowski. I said before that Kieslowski was the director that really started getting the ball rolling for me in terms of art film. And this was the trilogy that did it. I had scheduled that I would watch, Blue, White, Red in 3 days, back to back to back. That's like in the days. And I thought Blue would be the one that would really do it for me, be that life-changing film. And I was wrong. It was the other bookend one, though Blue is still fantastic. I absolutely adore Three Colors Red. I think some of the masters were controversial, or the color grading, especially regarding Blue, because it's not like Blue. But I've also heard that it's actually accurate. I think it looks great. Again, I did not see the movie in the mid-90s. I was not around, surprisingly. But I think they look great. These films are fantastic, and I'm really happy that they're out, and they're on 4K. Here is Spine number 651, Badlands, the directorial debut of Terrence Malick. This is the Blu-ray. That looks absolutely fantastic. All of Terrence Malick's movies. He's one of those very visually oriented directors. You can know a Terrence Malick movie probably just by looking at it, certainly by watching it. This has a lot of those trademarks, a lot of his oddities, but is not as grand. It's not trying to answer big questions of the universe. So if you're not feeling in that mood, but you kind of want a Terrence Malick film, this is it. It's very odd. It's very strange, kind of dreamlike still, but very interesting and very good. Next is the Essential Jacques Demy. This is the 6-film set from Criterion, all Blu-ray. And this includes a lot of his key films, the big two, which are those two musicals, Umbrellas of Cherbourg, Young Girls of Rochefort. I think Une Chambre de Ville is also in there. I think I said that right. I have only seen the 2 films in this set. I got this because I really enjoy those, and I just wanted to see more of his films. Though wasn't this bigger? I got it recently. Wasn't this thicker from sometimes when I see it on people's shelves, it looks like really big. I don't know if they cut it down, but it's still a wonderful set, and I'm happy I own it. Oh, we are not done with Jacques Demy just yet, because I did pick up the 4K of the Umbrellas of Cherbourg. I normally wouldn't do an upgrade, like let's say if I had owned a Blu-ray of something and it's not a different transfer, like the same 4K scan, but now it's just on a 4K disc and they didn't have an HDR grade, because this disc does not have an HDR grade. I normally wouldn't pick that up, but this was a new 4K scan. So I went ahead and picked it up, and I'm glad I did because it looks really good. I actually just recently watched this. I thought it looked absolutely phenomenal. But what I think is even better is that the audio has been remastered, and it is a much bigger step up to me personally than from the old Blu-ray than just the look of the film itself. Next, I have Spine number 732. This is My Darling Clementine. This is John Ford. This is a old classic Hollywood Western. I feel like this would have to be one of his more famous movies. This covers the guy, Wyatt Earp. Yeah, that's his name. And the OK Corral shooting. He goes, he meets, Doc Holliday, big famous Western story. This is a really enjoyable film. There's a lot to it, a lot of different storylines, a lot of different angles that they look from. I do like a little more of the romantic side, kind of seeing, the old desperado. But you got this side of, justice and wanting to bring law and order into the Wild West. Overall, a very enjoyable film, and I would recommend it. Next up, I have David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. This is the 4K release from Criterion, the Spine number 779. This is a very interesting film, especially if you have not seen any of Lynch's work. But I'm pretty sure that many of you have, in fact, seen some of his works. But I do very much enjoy this film. I do from the, I've seen around 5-ish David Lynch films, and this definitely is up there more towards the top of those. Here I have Spine number 826, the Blu-ray release of Terrence Malick's The New World. This is the only Terrence Malick film in the collection that I have not seen, but I ended up blind buying it just because it's a Terrence Malick movie. He's one of my favorite directors. I just gotta see it. But now we're moving on to another David Lynch film. This is Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, the mostly prequel, but at times maybe sequel to the Twin Peaks television show. I love the Twin Peaks television show, and if I had to make a pick for David Lynch's best movie, it would, in fact, be this one. And I know it's probably very partial just because I love the television show so much, but this is also the film that really got me into just film as a whole. I love this film to death. This is the 4K release. When I saw that they announced it, I jumped for joy because it finally got it, even though there was no HDR grade, but it looks like that the master was done without it in mind. I think it's the same transfer as the one that I have in this Twin Peaks Blu-ray set, the show, The Entire Mystery. But I'm enough of a shill for the movie that I'll just go ahead and pick this up. I never owned the Criterion edition of it, so there are some new special features that I also got with it, as well as the native 4K disc. Next up, I have The Tree of Life from Terrence Malick. This is the Blu-ray. I don't know, I feel like they're going to be releasing this on 4K, but I just couldn't help myself. I was like, I got it. This is one of those films, times where I was not strong enough to not be patient. I think the first 5 minutes might be the greatest intro in all of cinema. It's just like, for 5 minutes, the world just makes sense. Here I have the last of the David Lynch 4Ks. This is Spine number 977, Blue Velvet. I got this at a Barnes & Noble sale. I have seen this, though, even though it is sealed. This is a film that I enjoy, and I probably definitely need to watch it again before I give maybe more complete, concrete thoughts about it. But it's not something that really jumped out as being this is as good as maybe something as Fire Walk with Me or Mulholland Drive. But I can certainly appreciate it. There's a lot of good sequences, but I definitely just need to watch it again. Next up, I have the Coco trilogy by Abbas Kiarostami. This is 3 films that aren't really that connected other than place. I think maybe some characters. I don't really know because I've only seen one of these films. That is the first film, Where is the Friend's House, which I found was really enjoyable. It's a very simple movie, but just seeing how he interacts with all these different people and how he keeps on pestering them and asking them questions, even though he may not 100% know what's going on, but you can just tell he just is like so innocent and so pure. I thought Kiarostami did a really good job at capturing that, and I am very excited to see the other two films part of this trilogy. I know Kiarostami is a highly revered filmmaker. It's a shame probably that I've only seen his one film. Here I have The Elephant Man, the Blu-ray digipack, spine number 1051, 1051. This was the second David Lynch film that I see. It's not similar to the other David Lynch films, but it is a very good film. It has a very empathetic lens on our hero here, a man who shines with so much grace and so much dignity and is able to see the best in people, even though people don't see the best in him. Some of the most moving moments, I think, are when people finally do get to see, you know, the man for who he is, and treat him as what if he was just like the rest of us. Next, I have Andrei Tarkovsky, the very famous Soviet director, and this is Mirror. This is one of his earlier films in his career, and is it his most famous, most highly revered? I don't know. It's definitely, maybe that's hard to say when it comes to Tarkovsky, but this is certainly one of them. This is a kind of a portrait on just life, on childhood, a little bit of Russian history. I think the scenes of childhood are some of the most moving to me. There's a lot of serenity, a lot of peace, a lot, the tranquility. I think of the cabin and the nature around them, and maybe the little kitties. I don't know, like when you're sprinkling the sugar on them. I don't really know what that's about. Now for another film about, you know, memory and all that stuff is Afterlife. But this takes a very different approach. I believe this is spine number 1089. This is by Hirokazu Koreeda. This is a Japanese film, obviously, and it just follows around people. They go, they die, as they do, and then they go to this just kind of, I don't know, limbo or whatever you want to call it. And in 7 days, kind of more 4, they have to decide what is the one memory that you would choose to keep for the rest of your life, and everything else you'll forget. And it's a very simple question, but it's just such a moving movie. I love this movie. That question allows a viewer to kind of think to themselves, what's important to your life? You know, what do you want to be remembered for? Maybe what do you want to remember? You know, is that going to be something that you did, or the time you spent, you know, the people that you were with? Next up here, I have a Throwdown by Johnny To. This was a blind buy from a flash sale, and actually the reason I bought it is, like, you know, like that when you first open the Criterion page, you're like, oh, flash sale, and they have the little clip running underneath it. Well, they had a clip from Throwdown. She's running down the street, money's flying everywhere. It just looks so strange, and I think, well, I just did right-click, open video new tab, and they had the name of the movie as part of the file for the... It's a very endearing movie. It's basically a movie about the power of friendship, and that sounds really corny, and it kind of wears its heart on its sleeve, but it was surprisingly endearing, and I really enjoy this. I would, if you like Hong Kong cinema, if you like Johnny To, or if you want something maybe a little more lighthearted and funny, this is kind of it. Next, I have spine number 1122, 1122. This is around midnight. This is the Dexter Gordon in playing jazz musician in jazz movie, doing jazz things. I like jazz. I have not seen this movie. This is a blind buy, but again, I'm a big fan of jazz, even though I suck playing jazz. I just wanted to, you know, check this out and see, you know, I'll probably enjoy it. Next up, I have Double Indemnity. This is the Billy Wilder classic noir film, classic Hollywood. I think this was the film that really, like, boom! Now it's Billy Wilder, he's here. This is the 4K, which looks absolutely amazing, especially those nice low darks look extra crisp. Next, we're going back to Hong Kong for Stanley Kwan's Rouge, spine number 1129. This is the Blu-ray, starting the one and only Anita Moy and the one and only Leslie Chung, the two biggest Cantopop stars. They are both lovely. They're both wonderful. I especially love Anita Moy in this role. I need to see more of her acting. I highly recommend this if you've never seen a Stanley Kwan film. I'm acting like I'm some Stanley Kwan expert. No, this is the only one I've seen, but I need to see more. It's just harder to see. I really want to see Center Stage. I'm rambling, but you like Hong Kong cinema? Go check out this movie. Go check out Evita Moy. You're not gonna be disappointed. Next up I have here is Raging Bull, the 4K release of Martin Scorsese's masterpiece. He probably has a lot of those. I don't know. I feel like for me it could either be Raging Bull or Taxi Driver. It's been maybe a little bit since I've seen Taxi Driver, or maybe it could be Goodfellas. I don't know. It's been some time since I've seen that film. De Niro gives one of the all-time great performances, and Kathy Moriarty is also great. Joe Pesci is really fantastic. There's just everything about this movie is absolutely fantastic. It's if you're like not wanting to watch it for some reason because you think you don't want to watch a boxing movie, it's not a boxing movie. It's a movie about a boxer. Next, I have Eve's Bayou, spine number 1154. This is a blind buy I picked up on a Barnes & Noble sale, mainly because I had heard good things. I read the description, it looks good, and probably most importantly, when I make a blind buy, being like, I should get that, the cover looks really, really, really cool. Takes place in the Louisiana Bayou. I need to get into it. I have a big stack of blind buys. I just need to sit down and actually like, hey, I'm in the mood to watch this one. You know, let me go watch it. Sometimes I just get too busy, but this is on the list. Next up is Spike Lee's Malcolm X. This is the film about said Malcolm X, starring the great Denzel Washington. This is the 4K release. Sometimes I watch old Siskel and Ebert shows just because I like them. I think Roger Ebert was a great critic. I'll go and read his reviews from time to time. They're really well written. Probably maybe that like kind of style has influenced me a lot in terms of how I want to try and write reviews maybe. But he did the best movies in the 1990s. By then, you know, Gene Siskel had passed away at that point, so it was him and Marty, and they both put this on the list, and they both had other films that I really enjoy on their list. So I was like, well, this is both on their list, it's got to be good, right? Here I have another Marty Scorsese picture, After Hours, spine number 1185. This is the 4K release that looks absolutely amazing. This is more of a side to Marty that might come off as a little different. Not as serious. He's not taking himself so serious. He's having fun with it. He's making kind of this like weird, trippy, darkly comic adventure. One man who's just trying to get home. There is just a lot of weird things going on, which I think can maybe hide away from the fact that the plot is like actually like really well written. There's just a lot of moving pieces that kind of end up working themselves out. You may not know exactly where it's going, and then it kind of takes you there, and you're like, oh, that was pretty good actually. I very much enjoy this film. Not one of Scorsese's best, but certainly, if you like a lot of Scorsese's films, you want to see more, After Hours is a great place to check something out and check something that would be different. And while we're on the topic of Scorsese, we might as well move on to Mean Streets. This is the film that really put him on the map. His first collaboration with Robert De Niro, an earlier collaboration with Harvey Keitel. This is a more mob kind of movie. These are young people, young men in the mob trying to get that name for himself, but unfortunately for Harvey Keitel's character, I can't remember his name. Robert De Niro's character, Johnny Boy, has got a screw loose in his head and causes a lot of mayhem, gets himself in a lot of trouble, and kind of brings down the overall name of maybe the two of them. And as he tries to keep them in check, things just kind of start to unravel. Next, I have Farewell, My Concubine, famously the only Chinese language film as of yet to win the Palme d'Or at Cannes Film Festival. This stars Leslie Cheung in one of his best roles, as well as Zhang Zhenyi and Gong Li. This is a period piece set across many decades as you follow the two young boys as they are in the brutal opera troupe raised up and then later go on to become big opera stars. It is a beautiful film. This is the 4K release. It is kind of a bit of a shame that it doesn't have HDR because the film looks so colorful, so vibrant, really fantastic. But the disc still looks good in my opinion. But I don't know if I'm I wouldn't say don't trust me on everything when it comes to discs. And now for a film that I would recommend to not just about anybody, that is Happiness by Todd Solondz. This is the 4K release. I find it hilarious. I can think of all the films in the history of cinema, and this is one that is chosen to get a 4K release, and that does not mean that the movie is bad. Far from it. It's just a surprising pick. This is a very bold film. I would say watch this if you know what you're in for, and that sounds interesting to you, because it is not for the faint of heart, and it does tackle some very things that a lot of people don't really want to dabble with. Next up, I have Sean Baker's highly acclaimed Anora. This is spine number 1259. This was a film that I have said a lot about already. You can go find that for yourself. But I will say I was just very, very surprised in theaters when I saw it. Very pleasantly surprised. Here I have a pretty recent release from Criterion that I picked up at the most recent Barnes & Noble sale. Confucian, and Mahjong, the two films by one of the titans of Taiwanese cinema. That would be Edward Yang. They are both on Blu-ray. This is a release that I'm just kind of like, I love this kind of release. You know, this is, I mean, Edward Yang films have always kind of had distribution difficulties, and so to be able to get these two more obscure, even though they're not, you know, they're not the greats. I'm very excited. I've not seen any of these. I have seen A Brighter Summer Day. I have seen Yi Yi, as you guys have probably noticed. I do not own them. I was waiting on 4Ks for those two, and it worked out with Yi Yi. They're good enough that I got these two without even watching it. Now we're moving on to the most recent additions to my collection that I have picked up in this last Barnes & Noble sale, along with Mahjong and Confucian. This is Read My Lips, the French crime thriller by Jacques Audiard. It just sounds like a very interesting film, something that I would enjoy, so I kind of went out and just got it. Might as well see. And that carries over into the next film, Spine number 1280, also French. I don't know if it's crime thriller, but it is by Jacques Audiard. Obviously has even the same style packaging. The Beat My Heart Skipped. This is, though, only a Blu-ray, unfortunately, and basically what I said before. And now to wrap up the Criterion Collection is the World of Wong Kar-wai box set. This technically doesn't have a spine number, so I just have it displayed. I mean, it's too big to even fit on my shelf, so why bother? This is includes basically all the key Wong Kar-wai films that he's made. Probably the biggest one that I've heard more good things about in Hong Kong that isn't on here would be Ashes of Time. That is the same year that Chungking Express released. But this includes As Tears Go By, Days of Being Wild, Chungking Express, Fallen Angels, Happy Together, In the Mood for Love, 2046. I have seen all but As Tears Go By, just haven't gotten around to it. I need to. I think that is considered more essential Hong Kong cinema, at least in the grand scheme of things. And it's got Andy Lau and Maggie Cheung. I know this release was a little controversial based on the new 4K restorations that were undertaken, and Wong Kar-wai took a more revisionistic approach. Now, I wasn't around in theaters, I know, but they have the alternative versions on the Criterion channel for In the Mood for Love. I know I haven't really given that much of a look, so I can't really tell. I know some people say, like, that one is really bad. I think I've also seen some comparison videos. Days of Being Wild, I think just kind of looks better. I think 2046 is about the same. I think Chungking Express, I know people were like really up in arms, but I mean, I don't mind the more naturalistic look. Yes, there's a change, a slight change in like color, but nothing really that drastic where I'm like, I'm not even watching the same movie. And then like people are whining about like the end credits being different, and like they're like, I can't, those end credits are fake. Like, do like their end credits. Who cares about end credits? Like the movie's over at that point. Like Fallen Angels, I understand, maybe an aspect ratio change is different. One change I do want to say in Chungking Express, it has nothing to. It makes the movie no better or no worse, depending on. But it's just like such an odd thing to change. Is like, why is the music at like slightly pitched higher? Like Happy Together, though, I will say I think the color change is not as good. It's just not as oversaturated. It's not as great. I think the waterfall scene, instead of looking really pretty, looks like he's just standing in front of a big pile of mud. Like the mud water just looks very dirty. So that's the only one I can really get behind. But I just really enjoy this box set. I enjoy all of Wong Kar-wai's movies. If you've made it this far, how many of you had listening to my rambles? Wong Kar-wai is my favorite director. I'm not really sure how different these are. They are different. The Janus Contemporaries now, Criterion premieres, but I have Totem. It's the only one I have. There are some other ones I'm interested. I would want to watch them first. But this is a very nice, sweet movie. Watching it again gave me more appreciation to it. And just seeing how these family members deal with their loved one that's going to go away. Next, I'm going to move on to Radiance. They are a UK label, but most of their stuff is actually region-free, so you can get almost everything that they put out. But it's all a little more obscure, so I haven't seen. Every time I buy from them is a blind buy. I need to get around to seeing them. I bought so many, but I've only seen about a couple of them. I've just been busy doing other things, so this one's going to be a little more rapid-fire through. But this first film, Spy Number 23, A Moment of Romance, I have actually seen. This stars Andy Lau and Qianlian Wu in this kind of romantic crime gangster movie. I was actually kind of surprised with this one. I got it because of the cover and it has a lot of familiar names. Like I think it was produced by Johnny To, obviously starring Andy Lau. And it's just very melodramatic, but if that's kind of your thing, I would definitely recommend this because I was enjoying it a lot. Next here I have Tokijiro, Lone Yakuza by Tai Kato. This is the only film I have of him, and though I know he's kind of a favorite of the label. Spy Number 39. I just got this, as is the case for all the movies, because it just sounded really interesting and I heard a good recommendation. Next here I have Spine 51. This is Misunderstood. This is an Italian film, and it's a family drama, kind of dealing probably with grief and other things based on reading it, and apparently the child performances in this movie are very good. Here I have Spine 52. This is The Shape of Night. I got this because, the cover looked great, and they name-dropped Wong Kar-wai, which is enough to really make me buy anything. Here I have Tattooed Life by Seijun Suzuki. I think this is one of his more popular films outside of like the collection, and just a director that I want to get into, so I might start with this one here. Next is Spy Number 90. This is The Cat by Dominic Graf. This is a German film. Just the only German film that I've seen is Wim Wenders. This is a kind of a heist thriller crime movie, and it sounds very interesting, and I put it in, and it seems very entertaining, very well made. I just need to sit down and watch it through. Next up, I have Je t'aime by Alain Resnais. I believe that's how it's pronounced. He's a famous French director. I think Hiroshima Mon Amour is his most famous film. But this is like a science fiction love story film. People have like put it on par with other films like Solaris by Tarkovsky, and it sounds really interesting. It has like this kind of time-bending, weird structure. Again, another one that I just need to watch. Next, I have Spy Number 93. This is The Eel by Shohei Imamura. I picked this up because this film actually tied for Palme d'Or at the 96 Cannes Film Festival. I know it stars Koji Yakusho in the same year that he starred in Cure by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. And that's really the main reason I picked it up, but I also haven't seen this film. Sometimes I wonder if I buy films more than I actually watch them. Next up I have a dual Blu-ray case. This is Il Posto and I Fidanzati, if I said those right. These are two Italian films that are actually in the Criterion Collection, but they've been stuck on Blu-ray Radiance. And by Blu-ray I mean DVD, but Radiance got it out on Blu-ray, so I've heard good things. The same old story. Here I have another Seijun Suzuki film, A Tale of Sorrow and Sadness. I really just picked this up because reading the description, it sounds kind of ridiculous and in a funny, kind of goofy way. I guess he had taken a break and then come back and made this. So, might as well watch it. Next, I have another dual release. These are two films by Patrick Tam, Nomad and My Heart is at Eternal Rose. Nomad is considered, essential Hong Kong cinema. I've seen it on many well-respected lists. And I have seen it, caveat, I've seen the back. My Heart is at Eternal Rose. This stars Tony Leung, and the first time he won a Best Actor award at the Hong Kong Film Awards. Best Supporting Actor. He's here alongside Joey Wang and some other guy. And this is another very melodramatic film. It's a heroic bloodshed, not a happy ending, but I found it very enjoyable, and it's one of Christopher Doyle's first DP credits, which is another reason why I picked these up. They also said that Patrick Tam was a mentor to Wong Kar-wai. That was enough. That was enough right there. And here I have The Betrayal. This is a samurai movie about a samurai who gets betrayed. If I can read this little description correctly, I haven't seen it. And to wrap up Radiance, I have a big box set release from them. This covers, it's like in the 140s, if you care about that. This is the Nagase Oshima, 9 films by him, kind of thrown out through his entire career. I have seen 3 of the films in this set already. I wanted to make sure, watch a couple Oshima films to know that I want to pick up a set like this. They are The Man Who Left His Well on Film, Death by Hanging, and Boy. And I enjoy them all. I think Boy is my favorite Oshima film that I've seen. I've also seen Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, and Death by Hanging are both in the collection on Blu-ray. But most of this set isn't. Next, I'll be moving on to Arrow Video, Arrow Films. It's a mixture of, their US and UK releases. I'll pick up the UK releases if they aren't US releases. Wow. And I have a fistful of dollars here on their 4K when they announced the Dollars trilogy. I have seen this one. It's basically Yojimbo, but what if Clint Eastwood was Toshiro Mifune and instead of a samurai, he was a cowboy. It is different enough from Yojimbo that it deserves its own place on my shelf. This is the 4K of City on Fire, Ringo Lam's very influential Hong Kong action thriller, considered essential Hong Kong cinema, though I wouldn't say that it's one of my personal favorites from the region. It is very enjoyable though. Chow Yun-fat is great. Next I have Hideo Nakata's Dark Water. This is a J-horror film about a mother and daughter who move into an apartment, but something is off about... It has a dark secret, I guess. This was a film that kind of took me a little bit to get into. I enjoyed mostly the mother-daughter dynamic going on, but as the movie went on, it definitely got more disturbing, more creepy, sometimes just ugh. Gross. I just felt sick to the stomach. There's some great kind of uncanny valley moments in here where it's you hear something and you're like, that's almost human, but that's not really. So I found it very scary and got it here. Here I have the 4K of Bruce Lee's martial arts classic, Fist of Fury. This is probably, from what I've seen, his most highly regarded movie. I've only seen one Bruce Lee movie, and it is Enter the Dragon. And I mean, his athleticism is, it's unparalleled. So I'm excited to get into more of these, and because I have a couple more Bruce Lee movies that you'll be seeing. Next here I have the 4K of For a Few Dollars More. This is the only film in the Dollars trilogy that I haven't seen. Obviously it came in this big, glorious edition from Arrow Video. Got all the special features. So here I have the 4K of Ringu. This is another Hideo Nakata J-horror film. This is kind of what really started getting the ball moving after Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Cure in the new J-horror movement. I really enjoyed this one. It's kind of a mix. It's kind of a mix between a horror, ghost story, mystery kind of adventure. I feel towards the end it's we gotta go do. Here I have Billy Wilder's The Apartment. This is the 4K that Arrow Video has recently released. It's a classic. Just need to get around to seeing it. But I own a great edition. Next I have The Big Boss on 4K. This is Bruce Lee's kind of A Star is Born movie. It was a huge hit for him, and here it is. Here I have the 4K of The Good and Bad and the Ugly, the final film in the Dollars trilogy. This is a massive movie in basically every sense. I feel you watch 10 movies, but it's very enjoyable. Some scenes I need the Civil War bridge scene. I'm what's kind of going on here? Is it necessary? I just need to watch it again. There's so much going on. Next, I have the 4K of The Good and the Bad and the Weird. This is a completely different. This is a Korean drama comedy adventure. I don't know what it is. It's a good time though. I really enjoyed it. This is the only Korean film that I've seen. That's gonna be some kind of sad fact. Here I have the 4K of The Way of the Dragon. This is Bruce Lee's directorial debut. He got to basically do everything in this movie, and I need to see it. For another directorial debut, we have Michael Mann's Thief on 4K. I have seen one other Michael Mann film, that's Heat, and that's a very enjoyable film, so I'd like to see where he got going. I've heard great things about this one. Next, I'll be moving on to the BFI. They don't release too many physical movies, but when they do, they're usually pretty good. And even though I didn't end up going with Seven Samurai from them, I got the Yojimbo Sanjuro 4K. Next, I have the 4K of The Throne of Blood. This is the first Kurosawa movie that I saw, because I really liked Macbeth. I read it in high school, really enjoyed it. So I was like, hey, that's, common ground. And I just need to rewatch it again. And the last 4K that I have from the BFI is Aguirre, The Wrath of God. I don't know how to say it. The last 4 words I know how to say. But this is by Werner Herzog. This seems like just a very intense, grand scale, Heart of Darkness movie. And it was on the Sight and Sound pool, so I just was like, yeah, I'll go ahead, I'll blind buy it. I'm actually really out of all the things I haven't seen, this is on the top of my list. I just need to pop this in because I'm excited for it. And now we'll be moving on to another UK label. This is Eureka. I don't really own as much as I would like to. Their 4K releases are pretty few and far between. There are some Blu-rays that I am looking to get eventually when I have money. But I do have the 4K of The Knot, the Michelangelo Antonioni film. This is just about a wife and a husband, and I think they talk. But that sounds really interesting to me, so I do need to see this one. A movie that I just kind of happened to watch around the same time that they had announced this, and I'm very fortunate for, is Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Cure. This is one of my favorite horror movies. It's started kind of the J-horror phenomenon, more psychological than anything really, really tense. And the 4K looks really good. This was the first Eureka release that I got, and very happy about. Next, I have the 4K of High Noon. This is the very famous Western starring Gary Cooper and the always gorgeous Grace Kelly. That would be enough to really have me interested in it, and it just has a good reputation too, so I picked it up. Next, I probably have a more surprising release in my collection. That is Eureka's 4K of Martyrs. And the last Eureka release I have is the Phantomus Returns box set, which is Region B on the Blu-ray. I don't tend to get region locked Blu-ray discs just because I don't have a region free player. The only exception that I had to that was the Patrick Tam release from Radiance, because just given the nature of it. And this also came to me by accident. I know nothing about these movies. I had no interest in it. I bought La Notte, and then I opened it up and I saw this, which is not La Notte. So then I emailed Eureka, went through a whole debacle. They gave me La Notte, obviously. And we're just like, you can have this. So I have this for whenever I get a Region B Blu-ray player. I know nothing about these, but I will give them a chance, might as well. Maybe I'll really enjoy it and be like, wow, the greatest movie I've ever seen. That would be cool. That'd actually be cool. Next label I have is kind of two. Maybe they're different. I don't know. I'm just going to lump them in as one. StudioCanal and Lionsgate Limited. I know StudioCanal produces a lot of the restorations for Lionsgate Limited, and Lionsgate Limited has released a lot of StudioCanal releases here in the US. So they're just potato for me. I'll be starting here with Apocalypse Now. This is the big 7 disc set that they got. It has every cut of the movie ever, and you get the Hearts of Darkness. They're different. I've only seen the theatrical cut, and it's really stinking good. And I'll be interested to see the other ones. So I'm very happy with this here. Next, I have the 4K release of The Graduate, Mike Nichols' basically movement announcing film, starring Dustin Hoffman and Anne Bancroft. This is a film that I haven't seen, but I mean, it has a reputation that hopefully it lives up to. And this is just a cool addition. It even comes with the soundtrack on a CD, and I collect CDs, so that's cool. The last little crop of releases that I have is the Lionsgate Limited release of The Third Man on 4K. This is Carol Reed's, well-acclaimed noir starring Orson Welles and Joseph Cotten. I think Orson Welles' performance is the most well-known. He's even he's right here. I don't even think he's really the main guy. To move on to a new label, it's the only film that I actually own from this label, Umbrella Entertainment. It is their 4K release of Pulse by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. I think this movie is, it moves from, absolutely terrifying, totally unsettling, to just depressing as the world ends. Feelings of, alienation, isolation really cut through as you kind of realize what's going on around, and really, honestly, some of the techno horror stuff, which I kind of like, is just, ooh, yeah, freaky, man. And the last thing I have to show is Curzon's Jean Vigo Complete Works collection. Jean Vigo is a name that I only know from L'Atalante, but L'Atalante is one of the most well-revered works in all of cinema. And I thought, might as well own an entire guy's filmography, even if, his life was cut short and he barely has one. So this is just something that this is a release that I feel like just kind of rounds out the collection, and I need to get into watching these movies. So that wraps up my collection. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, stuck around. What do you guys think of my collection? What did we rate it? Is it yay or is it nay? Smash or pass. Like the video if you would do it, just to get that engagement up, because that engagement puts this video out, and I like feeling rewarded for my work of doing these dumb little videos. Speaking of which, this is not the kind of content I normally make. If you're new here, I usually do reviews. They take me a while, so I only do 1 or 2 a month, depending on the month. So you should go and check those out here. Thank you all for watching this. I greatly appreciate your time. I know that is valuable. And I will see you sometime, maybe. I don't know.